10 poor kids who became millionaires. Surely you have never thought about this. But did you know that 65% of the billionaires who controlled the most powerful companies in the world were very poor in their first years of life? Look at the secret that everyone used. Believe it or not, the people that we are going to introduce you in this video did not create their powerful companies thanks to dad's money. Nor did they receive large inheritances, much less did they receive a good loan from a bank. These great geniuses were very poor and knew how to get ahead with the little they had. Number 1. J.K. Rowling. She grew up in a humble family, and after her mother died, she moved to Portugal to work as an English teacher and to write, which was her greatest passion. In that country, she met a man with whom she married and had a daughter. Unfortunately, her husband mistreated her and she decided to leave him, so she moved in with her sister. She felt that she had failed, and what weighed her down the most was not being able to give her daughter a decent life. She even thought of taking her own life. He consoled himself by writing the first Harry Potter book, and after several attempts, he was able to sell it to a publishing house. The rest is history. Today she is one of the richest and most influential women on the entire planet. Number 2. Cristiano Ronaldo. The Real Madrid star is one of the best examples of how to overcome extreme poverty. His father was a gardener and his mother was a cook in a small restaurant. From a young age he knew that football would help him support his family. So he signed with Sporting Lisbon, and a few months later he was hired by Manchester United, where he became the best footballer in the world. On June 11, 2009, the English team accepted an offer of €80 million from Real Madrid to hire the Portuguese striker. The rest is history. Cristiano Ronaldo is not only one of the best players in the world, he is the highest earner in the sport. Number 3. Jeff Bezos. When he was a child, he worked on his grandfather's ranch laying pipes for drainage and feeding the cattle. A little older, he also worked as a cook at McDonald's. Everything changed in a summer in which he organized a camp for children, where they would learn about science. She charged $600 for the entire course. After college, he worked on Wall Street with computers, then at a bank, until he decided to start his own company. He created Amazon in his garage and never imagined the success he would enjoy months later. Today his fortune exceeds $60 billion. Number 4. Oprah Winfrey. Watching her, it is almost impossible to believe that Oprah had her first pair of shoes until she was 6 years old. Her mom was single when she had her, and she barely had money to buy food. This brave woman lived in such a degree of poverty that her grandmother even made clothes for her out of potato sacks. But that was not the worst. Oprah was sexually abused and became pregnant at only 14 years old. But her baby was premature and died at birth. Sometime later, she went to work at a radio station with the sole purpose of learning everything about the trade. Thanks to his talent and determination, he was able to climb positions, and at the age of 32, he got his first television program as a headline. From that moment, his career skyrocketed. Number 5. Ralph Lauren. This great fashion designer has a fortune close to $8 billion, but almost everyone is unaware that he was born into a very poor family in the Bronx, New York. He entered the university, but a short time later he left to join the army. Sometime later he worked as a salesman in a men's clothing store, and his first success was to question the style of ties that were being sold at that time. At the age of 28, he ventured into designing and selling his own models. In just 12 months, she managed to earn $500,000 in profit. The following year, he founded the Polo brand. Number 6. Howard Schultz. The Create Jobs for USA program was launched last October, soon after Starbucks chief executive Howard Schultz publicly scolded politicians on both sides of the aisle for not doing more to deal with the country's fiscal woes. As a child, he was sent to a home for poor children, but thanks to his enormous talent for playing football, he obtained a scholarship to enter the University of Michigan, which is how he got a job at the Xerox company. Shortly after, he began working in a Starbucks coffee shop. At that time, it had no more than 60 branches, but at the age of 34, he became the president of the company. Today, Starbucks has more than 16,000 branches and in various parts of the world. Number 7. Michael Jordan. Michael was born in 1965 into an extremely poor family. His parents, James and Delores Jordan, experienced firsthand the racism and inequality of the United States of that time. He grew up in Brooklyn, New York, but due to the terrible conditions they lived in, the family moved to Wilmington, North Carolina. Thanks to the fact that his father worked more than 14 hours a day for years, Michael had the opportunity to study, mainly standing out in sports. Thanks to his incredible physical development and his tremendous discipline for sports, Michael got the opportunity that changed his life. He won a scholarship to study at the University of North Carolina, where he specialized in history and geography, but he could not finish his studies, as he quickly became the most valuable player in college, and in just a few years, he left college to enter the NBA, selected by the Chicago Bulls in 1984. 2 years later, Jordan returned to school to major in geography. Soon Jordan became one of the best players in the entire NBA, and later one of the most talented and influential basketball players in history. Number 8. Leonardo DiCaprio. Today, Leonardo is one of the highest paid artists on the planet. However, his past was extremely difficult and painful. Her mother found it very hard to get ahead, because after her husband abandoned her, she had to leave her home to live in a very poor neighborhood. Leonardo grew up surrounded by drugs, prostitutes, and violence. His mother got him into the world of child modeling since he was 5 years old, because his lack of money made him look for other alternatives to support his family. Thanks to the fact that he received a scholarship from a renowned school in the United States, Leonardo had the opportunity to study acting, surrounding himself with the children of the wealthiest families in the city. With the passage of time, he became a consecrated actor, but he never forgot what he had to live with as a young man. He confesses that thanks to his childhood and everything he saw at that time is that he has stayed away from all the dangers of fame, and that is why he never used drugs, because since he was a child he observed the consequences of doing so. Number 9. Eminem. Considered one of the best rappers on the planet, Eminem had a childhood that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Her mother was a drug addict, and she always surrounded herself with bad men who beat her and her children. Eminem had to grow up very quickly to defend his mother and sister, who were helpless against his mother's alcoholic boyfriends. Hip-hop was his only escape, but he also had a difficult path, as it took many years for the white rapper to succeed in the industry. Number 10. Jim Carrey. If we can learn from anyone, it is Jim Carrey. He had an alcoholic father who beat him to death. At the age of 17, he arrived in Los Angeles with only $5 in his pocket, so he had to work as hard as he could to survive. Despite the sacrifices, Jim managed to fulfill his dream to become a successful comedian. His story is truly inspiring, as he shows that no matter the circumstances, if he has the will, anyone can make their dreams come true. All these great personalities agree that there is no magic recipe for success. In fact, the only way to achieve it is through hard work and constant learning. And these are 10 poor kids who became millionaires. And you, how many of them do you have? Leave us your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Beautiful Minds for more interesting videos. See you soon.